Hello, people. Hello, my fellow NEETs. It is time for yet another episode of How to Be a NEET. How are you guys doing? Oh my God, I'm feeling semi-decent. Okay. So, as you can see, the name of this episode, the title of this episode today is called I Have Never Seen a Vagina. Yes, people, Chad Marco is a virgin, loser, handholeless, hugless, kissless, virgin-ass NEET motherfucker. But before we get into that nonsense, I want to talk about 4chan and how I found 4chan and what I like to do on 4chan. So here we go. I first found 4chan during around like 2008. Damn, that was a minute ago. Shit. Yeah, I found 4chan around like 2008. It was around the time that the whole boxy thing was happening. I think I was looking for like some futa or some shit, like some porn, and I stumbled across B, and then I was just like blown away. I mean, it was just it was like the Wild West of the internet, because before that, you know, I was on a couple like forums and shit, but there you kind of like, because you're not really anonymous, you kind of become a character and people can like hold you responsible for the shit that you say. But on 4chan, it was just so cool because you could be one thing in one thread and another thread. Like, you could like talk shit to a guy in one thread, and then in the same thread like be his best friend. So it was like just so cool. And also just all the porn and seeing people's opinions and views unfiltered. Like, I really got a big dose of how racist white people really are going to 4chan. God, white people are still racist as fuck. But also there are a lot of like unique things there too that I never really stumbled across, or rather things that you wouldn't see on like your typical forum, like gore, you know, like seeing like people getting their head blown off and like these suicide gifts and shit. I mean, also like the paranormal, like creepy pastas and all that. Like, all that was new to me. And also just being able to relate to people on so many different topics. Like I said, when I first got there, the whole boxy thing was happening and it was crazy. Like, she took over that board. But what was so amazing about it was, like, I saw the power of Anonymous. Like, they took this basic ass bitch with this shitty ass video and like made it viral, made her the queen of B. And man, those were just really funny times. But like most people, you eventually kind of grow out of B because it's so fast, it's so chaotic. Like, you make a thread and it's gone in like 10 minutes unless it like gains steam and becomes popular. So, and the topics, you know, it's random, so the topics are so random. So eventually people end up branching out. So I eventually branched out to other boards like V. I used to play a lot of video games, so I loved V. I used to post there with an avatar. I used to post pictures of Conan Edogawa from Case Closed or Detective Conan. Yeah. I used to have a blast on fucking V, man, because it has like the same humor of B, but it's more organized and it's centered around like video games. And there's also like a little like feel element there too. Like they would have those, I think they were like 4 a.m. threads or something. Like, oh, I've lost control of my life. Like, there was still room to like feel and relate to each other on like more depressing topics and stuff like that. Also, where else would I go? Also paranormal. I like the paranormal board because I really got into those creepy pastas. Like, those were really cool stories really creepy shit in pictures, like those deep sea pictures of like Cthulhu and shit. I love those, and I love horror movies. So I was an X-File for a while. Also, gotta go to the porn boards, gotta go to GIF, gotta go to D, gotta go to H. You know, you gotta hit those up. Um, Surprisingly, I've only started going to A lot recently. Even though I've been watching a lot of anime, I never really got into browsing the A board until recently, but mostly for like the Dragon Ball Super threads, because those guys can be very elitist, very, it's fun when you kind of get the hang of their particular culture, but they can be really brutal to newcomers. So it took a while before I got into A. Also, of course, R9K. I mean, that's like, I want to say it's my favorite board, but it's so depressing. I swear, like it's not helping me at all. But if I ever feel like just, because you know what they say, misery loves company. And if you need some miserable motherfuckers to be around, then R9K is the place to be. I've been going there before it got erased the first time, doing the Forever Alone or Beta as Fuck shit those days. It's kind of a blur to me now exactly like how the culture used to be, but it's definitely changed a lot now. But it's still pretty much the same. It's still depressed virgins and shit. It's just a little bit more normies and girls around now. Well, there are no girls on the internet. What the fuck am I talking about? But yeah, love R9K because it's the perfect place to just shit post. I hate to say it, but I usually go to R9K just to shit post and be miserable. But I've been trying to distance myself from it for a while because, I mean, let's be honest, 4chan isn't the best use of your time and energy. But working on this R9K mixtape, I've really been wanting to like absorb like the feels, like really get into that mode of that depressive state, so I can really what's the word I'm looking for? So I can really put it into my music, put it into the R9K mixtape. And speaking of the R9K mixtape, oh my God, if anybody out there knows how to fucking draw, will you please make me a cover? I've been asking for so long, but I can't find anyone. I mean, all these people that's drawing all this like degenerate ass porn, all this crazy ass porn is being like drawn, and no one can make me a fucking mixtape cover. I even went to IC, the art board, and asked there, and I didn't get any replies. That's a cool board, by the way. I checked it out for a while. Those guys are pretty cool. I go to Mew too, music, because they have like those SoundCloud threads where you post your SoundCloud, and I like to post mine. I get like good feedback, and I like to check out other people's music too. We have a lot of talented people on 4chan, and that's why I really want to start reaching out more to these artists and musicians, because we can really pool our talent together and make some beautiful things. But I'm hoping to get out of my shit posting ways and start really using 4chan more efficiently, because there is value and beauty on 4chan despite all the bullshit and negativity and all that. Oh man, Poll is really fun too. Oh my God, those racist motherfuckers. I love Poll though. It's funny as hell. But yeah, that's about it for my 4chan talk. Also, I've been checking out 8chan too. There's a R9K board on 8chan. I've been checking that out too. It's a little bit slower, but basically the same old feel shit. You know what I mean? But yeah, let's get into the topic at hand. I will be right back. Get nice and comfy, get some snacks, get some juice and drink. Let's do this, man. Okay, as I said, and as you can see, today's episode is called I Have Never Seen a Vagina. Now, like most needs, I'm a virgin. I mean, let's face it, if you don't have a job, if you're not in school or anything like that, like, not only will you not have the opportunities to meet new people, specifically women, you're not even in like their range of what's acceptable as far as like a mate. Like, you're not making any money, you're not being a productive member of society. Now, I've seen a few instances, just reading stories on R9K or here and there about guys who were neats and still managed to like get laid and stuff. But if you're like me, you're not one of those guys. So that's why I wanted to talk about that today, because I mean, we're men. We have desires. We crave vaginas. We crave asses and all that shit. So how do we deal with that as neats? How do we deal with being a virgin in such a sex crazed, promiscuous, loose society, And I guess first off, it's appropriate for me to go into my own personal history with women. I'll start off third grade. Around like the third grade, that's when I first started noticing the opposite sex. Maybe a little bit before that, but that's when I made my first move. I mean, I know it's shocking, right? I made a move. But I remember thinking, like, there were several girls I liked, but, and this is funny, I thought in my head, I was like, okay, I like these girls, but they're out of my league. So I aimed extremely low. I aimed like, oh my God, if there were like 10 girls, from 1 to 10 as far as like attractiveness, I went for like the 3 instead of just going for what I want. Now, what I kind of like about that was just how like self-aware I was. Like, I was, I was scientific with the shit. Even back then, I was like, okay, she's out of my league, I'm gonna go here. Like I was very practical. But I'm kind of disappointed in myself in the fact that I didn't believe that I could get what I wanted, so I aimed so low for a girl that I didn't even really like. But anyway, what I did was, I'm sure I did like a couple like cute things here and there, but the one thing I remember specifically was that I bought her a cookie when we were in the lunchroom, and I left it beside her as I walked past like where the girls were and went to where the guys were. And I remember the girls being like, oh, that's so sweet. But none of that worked. She did not give a fuck. Even the fucking troll in the classroom wanted nothing to do with my ass. So I don't know if that negatively affected my confidence, but from there, I didn't really try. I didn't really try very hard from then on. From there, I just became more and more of a robot. I became more and more insecure. My self-esteem became lower and lower. I don't know why I went through this shift. I feel like I became too self-aware. I just remember when I was much younger, it seemed like I was on like autopilot, like just this masculine autopilot. And as I became more self-aware, it's like I became more afraid and feminine in a way, like more afraid to stand up for myself, more afraid to hit on girls. And when I got to middle school, it got really bad. I mean, I was a disaster. I mean, there was some beauty, well, not beauty, but there was like, looking back, I was like a diamond in the rough. Like, I can see like this shine. I had this shine, like this uniqueness to me, like I was unapologetically weird, and I kind of liked that. Like, I did what the fuck I wanted to, but it isolated me too. And I think if I had if I had the guidance, if I had the confidence to really balance that out, I could have been a lot more successful in school. But instead, I was just the weird guy that was kind of to the side, you know. And in middle school, I really kind of became just that guy, you know. Um, as far as girl, oh man, the good thing about middle school was that it was a lot more. I saw a lot more girls, you know, because you had like 4 classes instead of like being in like the one class with the same people. And I was around like white girls for the first time, Spanish girls, Asian girls, Arab girls. Oh my God, it was like girl heaven. I saw a white girl with a fat ass for the first time in my life. It was awesome. But I was not in the mode to make any type of moves on girls. I had like absolutely no belief that I could be successful with girls. I mean, oh God, my self-esteem was it was negative, 17 at about that point. But yeah, I can only remember one instance of possibly having a chance with a girl. And I think she found out that I liked her. And then I remember she kind of came towards me one day. And I knew that she knew I liked her, and then that made me way too nervous, so I just ignored her. Like I just acted like she wasn't even there, and then that was over with. So, yeah, like that was about the only moment throughout my whole middle school career that possibly could have turned into anything, or maybe she was just gonna, you know, straight give it to me, like you fucking loser, you don't have a chance. But yeah, and then going into high school, it really didn't get any better. I kind of came into my own more. Like I kind of balanced out a little more. Like I dropped like my autism kind of balanced out in high school, where I became I became more self-aware to know like what parts I needed to shave off and what I could keep. Because I wanted to be honest, I was in a way my own worst enemy. Because I really didn't give a fuck about fitting in. To be perfectly honest, I just really didn't give a fuck about I just did not give a fuck. Like I had a few friends here and there. I liked who I liked, but I didn't have a strong urge to break into new social circles or change who I felt I was, to integrate. So I just said, fuck it. My main concern at school was to just survive the day and go the fuck back home and play Final Fantasy or Pokemon Red and eat zebra cakes all day. Like that was my goal. And in high school, as far as girls, it wasn't any better. The girls were a lot more attractive, but I was still beta as fuck, or rather omega as fuck. I always felt like I was more omega than beta, even though they're pretty much the same. I was more of an outsider rather than just the guy struggling against like the currents. No offense to the betas, because nothing wrong with trying, but I just didn't give a fuck. Like I said, I just didn't give a fuck about fitting in. So yeah, high school, I can't think of any like meaningful interactions that I had with the opposite sex. It's crazy. But also, man, if I had to guess what a factor was, at least one of the factors of me not really being a go-getter as far as girls, because like this is the whole like no fap era. Man, I discovered pornography and masturbation relatively early. I think the first time I did it was around like 5th, 6th grade. Like, man, I was pouring out early. I mean, I'm pretty sure like by 9th grade, I probably already indulged in like every fetish you could probably imagine. Like I went all in. I was pouring out early. So I don't know if that I don't know if having that sexual outlet at that age discouraged me or kept me from trying like the other guys, but I'm looking back, it might have been a factor because I was a masturbating motherfucker back then, so that may have been part of it. But yeah, after eventually I dropped out of school, and as you can imagine, if you're not in school, if you're not working, you're not meeting any girls. So that's pretty much my history with the opposite sex. Once I dropped out, there was really no other ways for me to interact or meet new girls or anything like that. And I was still pretty much beta as fuck, omega as fuck, or whatever. Just no hope at all. Just pretty much no hope. Yeah, I mean that's pretty much it. I mean, the only thing now that's different is that I'm more balanced than, much more balanced than how I was in middle school, much more balanced than how I was in high school, and when I first became a NEET. Like, I'm at the point now where I feel like I could just go up and talk to girls and shit, but I just don't give a fuck anymore. to be perfectly honest, and we're gonna get into that. And yeah, like the only girls I really meet now are like cashiers and shit at like the stores, and they don't give a they don't give a fuck about me. They don't, you don't hit on the fucking cashier. That's like rule number one. Like, you don't bother them. Like, they're just doing their job. They probably get hit on like all fucking day. You know what I mean? I don't want to contribute to just the number of like thirsty guys hitting on the fucking cute girl in the store while she's just trying to, do her little wage slave shit for the day and go home and get fucked by Chad. Not this Chad. Yeah, those are really the only girls I ever see, and I don't want to bother them. So yeah, that's it. But this is an educational show, so we're gonna get into some more informative topics other than my own beta as fuck history with women. I think first of all, I want to answer the question of the century, the question that is always asked on R9K and various other boards and Reddit and Tumblr or whatever the fuck you browse. Why don't you have a girlfriend? Now, it's obvious why I don't have a girlfriend, but I want to really talk about, overall, like what makes other guys more attractive and successful with women than other guys. So yeah, stay tuned, and we're gonna get into that in a bit. Love you guys. Okay, welcome back to How to Be a NEET. This is an educational show, so I'm going to answer the question of forever. Why don't you have a girlfriend? Now, I'm no expert on the fucking world of sex and mating by any means. I'm as virginal as they come. But I have been observing the world around me, looking at my own family, my own friends, and their interactions with the opposite sex, reading a lot of stories online and, media, and I feel like I have a pretty decent idea of what it takes to get a girlfriend or have sex, and I want to just give my own personal opinion, my own scientific explanation of what I think is important as far as getting a girlfriend and shit like that. So I've made a list of attributes, traits, qualities that I think are essential for getting the vaginas. Excuse me. Now, I've broken it down into 4 things. And for right now, I'm gonna skip number 1 and go right into number 2. and you'll see why later. Okay, now, one of the most important things to me that it seems, hold on, I'm going through my notes. I made notes for this. Miss Suru, have you my notes? I'm going through these notes real quick. Okay, now, one of the most important things when it comes to getting laid, I think, is attitude. Because, you know, a lot of people would say looks are the most important thing. And I have to disagree, because I have read so many stories and you know, seen it for myself, where even if you are decent looking or whatever, if you don't believe in yourself, if you don't think that you can actually get laid, if you don't have if you don't radiate a positive energy, it's not gonna matter. I think that where getting laid starts is in your head. It's in your attitude and your energy, the way you carry yourself. That's why you hear so much that girls like bad boys. It's not because of the way that they look, it's the way that they carry themselves. It's the confidence. I think people like that are more likely to make a move on a girl and to just showcase themselves to the world. No matter what situation they're in, they're outgoing and extroverted. And I think girls like that. I think they just love confident, outgoing, positive guys. And I think the problem with a lot of people like us, a lot of NEETs and beta males and robots, is that for whatever reason, we have a lot of negativity. We have low self-esteem. We have depression. We have all this fucked up shit going on inside of us, and I think we carry that with us wherever we go. You know, when you're standing in line at the store, when you're at school or work, you may not notice it, but I truly feel like the way you feel about yourself on the inside, you can only conceal it so much. You know, I think the truth comes out in the little details, like your body language, the way you speak to people, eye contact, and stuff like that. That's why I say attitude is so important. You have to believe in yourself. And quite frankly, guys like us, we're fucked up. And we know we're fucked up. And I don't know how, like, people say fake it till you make it, but it's really hard to be consistent with that. I think it makes a big difference when you've had a lot of positive reinforcement throughout your life to back up your beliefs. And I think a lot of us, we've just had negative experience after negative experience, and we have like this negative song, this self-depreciating song playing in the back of our minds at all times. And I think that's a big part of why a lot of guys are very unsuccessful with women. They have a negative attitude. They have very bad energy, depressing energy. All right, number 3, I gotta say it, looks. Now, I hate it when motherfuckers say, oh man, looks don't matter. Oh my God, like that to me, that seems like some of the biggest bull crap on the fucking face of the planet. That's just straight up bullshit, man. I think looks matter a fucking lot. Not as much as attitude, depending on how attractive you are and the situation, but looks can definitely get you in the door easily. Like, it's like just having the perfect resume. You know, if you got looks, it'll get you in. But if your attitude is fucked up, that's like you had the perfect resume, but you came to the interview and you smelled like weed and you weren't, you know what I'm saying? Like, you just fucked it up. You fucked up the interview. But yeah, because the fact of the matter is that the mating game is harsh. It's brutal, man. Like, me, for example, there are some girls out there that no matter what I do, no matter how virtuous, no matter how confident and masculine and powerful, no matter how much status or whatever I gain, they would never have sex with me. They would never kiss me. They would never go out with me, either because of the color of my skin, either because I have a small dick, either because I got buck teeth, or my height. I'm only 5'8". So yeah. I mean, it's just the truth. Looks matter a fucking lot. Some girls are just not gonna mess with you. They're not gonna fuck with you because you just don't meet their standards. Like, yeah, you're a cool guy. There's nothing wrong with you, but the fact is, they would rather be with a guy who's 6 feet tall and beats the fuck out of them than with your 5'7" ass and you're just a fucking angel. You treat them like a princess. Like, it just doesn't, it's not gonna matter to them. They want 6 feet and above. They want 7-inch dick or bigger. They want white males. They want, like, there is just certain things that girls is non-negotiable. And that's why I say looks matter a lot. And especially in the social media age that we're in now, with like Tinder, Tumblr, 4chan, whatever, Facebook, where you just upload a picture of yourself and fuck it, if someone likes it, that's it, you're in. Like, I see it all the time on 4chan with those catfishing threads where the guys, they'll take like a picture of a very attractive guy, and you just see, I mean, the proof is right there. You see how much easier it is for guys to have success, especially with online dating, when they're just attractive. Like, it doesn't matter what the fuck, it doesn't matter. That's why I love the term no game, because like, if someone likes you, they like you. It really doesn't matter what the fuck you say. If they're attracted to you, you can say, oh yeah, man, you just a fucking cunt, come suck my dick, and they'll come suck his dick. You know what I'm saying? If he's just that fucking attractive. That's why I say, yeah, looks matter a lot, man. I mean, it's to me, it's just fucking obvious. And also, oh my god, that male model who was like a prisoner, or he was like in jail or something, but he had like this fucking beautiful ass face, and then like all the women are like, oh my god, he can rape me any day. Oh my, I don't care. He can do whatever he wants. He's so beautiful. Like, stuff like that just shows you like how important looks are. But still, to me, if you don't have the attitude to back it up, then you're not gonna really be able to capitalize on it, because still, girls, they do not usually make the first move. So even if you are attractive, girls may give you a signal. They give you a hint that they're attracted, but they're not gonna be explicit about it. You still have to be forward. You still have to be somewhat aggressive. And that's why I still put looks under attitude, because you need to have the go-getter spirit behind the looks to really make it count. Now, below looks, I put money. And a lot of people say, well, money, all it takes is money. I mean, yeah, as far as buying like prostitutes and shit, but still, I've read so many stories about guys who, now I'm not talking like millionaire status. I'm not talking like billionaire, millionaire. I'm talking just someone who's really well off, like sits like a 6-figure salary. I think that's within the range of actual reality here. I mean, let's be realistic. And what I've noticed is that there's a lot of guys within that range who just aren't successful with women, despite having great careers, very bright futures, nice cars in the house. They're just not enjoying a good amount of success with women. And I think it's because that they don't have the looks and the attitude to back up the money that they have. Because what are you gonna do? You're gonna just go up to a girl and say, hey, I got this nice car, I got a 6-figure salary. Like, they're like, the problem with money is that if that's all you have to rely on, then you're only gonna attract gold diggers. And even then, it's like, if your opener is, hey, I'm rich, like, come on, like, I don't think a lot of girls are going to respond to that. I just don't. I've heard so many stories that prove the contrary, where it doesn't matter. You still have to have like that social life, that confidence, and just the lifestyle to really capitalize on the fact that you're a baller. You know, girls have to know you're a baller without you explicitly telling them. And that's why I put that at the bottom as far as like the 4 traits. Now, number 1 to me is the number 1 the number 1 trait or attribute, whatever, when it comes to getting laid or getting girls. The way I see it is a combination of fame and status. Now, some people would just say status, but the problem with that is if people don't know that you're a fucking Saudi oil prince, then it doesn't matter. You know, it doesn't really matter your rank, like how high you rank, if people don't know. That's why I say it's really fame and it's a mixture of fame and status that's the most important. And the reason why I say this is because even without the attitude, even without the looks, even without the money, status does the work for you. Fame does the work for you. Just for an example, Elliot Rodgers, shout out to Big R, by the way. You know, he was a decent looking guy. He was really cute. He wasn't rich by any means, but he presented himself very well. He came from like at worst like an upper middle class family, had a nice car, nice clothes and stuff like that. Of course his attitude was abysmal, but still, like, he had at least 2 out of the 4 things and it just did not work for him. But after he kills motherfuckers, after he dies, now he has like a fucking fan club of these girls that want to fuck him all of a sudden. Why? It's not because of the way he looks. It's not because of his money. It's because of the fame and notoriety that he gained after killing motherfuckers. It's the same thing with other serial killers like Jeffrey Dahmer, Ted Bundy, you name him. Even the fucking guy who shot up the movie theater, Bane posting. Yeah, like, it doesn't matter if you're a fucking killer, a rapper, movie star, whatever. As long as you have fame, it just seems like the bitches are gonna come. It just like that. Like, you could be the ugliest, broke, shittiest attitude motherfucker, but if you just have any amount of fame, it just seems like girls are just gonna be interested in you. And just as another example, Eggman, shout out to Egg White. I noticed that off of the strength of the little fame that he got by posting his face on R9K, that he started getting like more girls interested in him. And it wasn't because, you know, his attitude, definitely wasn't because of his looks, definitely wasn't because of like money. I mean, he was a super wage slave, but it was the little bit of fame that he had. And then bitches, they just wanted to feed, or I don't know why, but they feed off of that shit. They love it. And yeah, and also, like, that fat fuck, Boogie 123, whatever. Like, he has like a cute ass wife. Well, I think she's kind of fat now, but man, and why? It's not because his looks, not because his attitude, maybe a little bit of that YouTube money, but I think it's mostly just the fame. I think it's something about fame and status that just makes girls, I don't know. It's like, anytime, I don't know, it must be the inner attention whore of females. I mean, they see any spotlight, and if there's a guy under it, then they have to be there with him so they can enjoy that. I don't know, maybe that's it. I don't get it, but that's why I put status and fame number 1, because if you look at it from the perspective that you have one and you're lacking in all the others, then status and fame does all the work for you. You can be the most negative, ugly, broke motherfucker and you will still find a way to get laid. I mean, goddamn. But yeah, if you wanted to know why you don't have a girlfriend, that's probably fucking why. Now, let it sink in. Let the feels take over your soul. Pack a bowl. And let's see, what should I talk about next? Because this is an educational show. Now, I did just go into a big rant about why do we have a girlfriend? Oh God, I'm so terrible with girls in school. But to be perfectly honest, man, like, I've adapted pretty fucking well. I mean, I'm older than Elliot Rodger now, and I'm still a virgin, and I'm not shooting people up. You know what I'm saying? Like, and you know, I want to impart some of my wisdom, some of my mindsets and stuff that I have used to kind of, some people would say cope, some people would say rationalize, but deep down, I honestly feel like I could never have sex or a girlfriend, and I could still die happy, to be perfectly honest. Like, I've gotten to a point where sex seems like like, you know how it's like in a video game, you have the main objective and then you have the optional missions, you have the side quest, and I've managed to turn sex into like a side quest at best. It's something I could do, you know, but I'm not depending on it. I'm not relying on, or, you know, on having sex. I found other things to fulfill me, and I want to just share that. I want to try my best to kind of give you guys, you know, that power that I've achieved to cope as a virgin, as a NEET, you know. So stay tuned, and I'm going to show you my wizard wisdom, how to be a wizard. Oh my God, let's go. Okay, so as a NEET, naturally, you're not going to be getting any pussy anytime soon. So what I'm going to do for you guys today is I'm going to give you my tips on, hold on, give me a second. This, my volume is a little low. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you guys a couple tips on just how to cope with being a lonely virgin in this day and age. I have a couple of strategies that I employ to not commit suicide. Okay. Number one, jack off a lot. You're gonna want to be choking the chicken quite often. Now, to be honest, I've been getting into like some no-fap shit, like just, you know, researching it, looking into it, trying to limit my porn and masturbation use. But I have to say that I believe that at least a small part of my being able to deal with being a virgin is probably thanks to the abundance of ass and titties and just straight up depraved ass sex that's available for me to watch on the internet and beating my little dick. I feel like in a way, masturbating kind of resets your thirst meter. I remember one time, I did no fap for about 2 weeks. And I just remember when I went outside, I was like I just felt thirstier. Like I was way more inclined to look around me at girls and fantasize and stuff like that. But fapping, you know, the downside is like the brain fog and shit, but the upside is like the brain fog and shit. So your mind's just so clogged up, you're not really engaged in the whole mating dance, especially when you're outside and for whatever reason at the store or whatever. So yeah, masturbating is probably a good help, a good thing to do if you want to kind of lower your libido a little bit. You know, kind of tame the inner fuck monkey inside of you. Um, okay, now this is a big one. Don't conceal the fact that you are a virgin. Don't be ashamed of it. A big turning point for me, I believe, was when I was in high school, and I remember a friend of mine asked me, "Hey man, are you a virgin?" Now, before this, in like middle school, I would lie about it because, who wants to be the fucking virgin? Who wants to be the guy who can't get pussy? But by the time I hit high school, I was just like, my fucks were just falling off the face of the planet. Like, I was not giving a fuck in so many ways. And then I just was like, straight up, like, yeah, I'm a virgin. And there was a bit of shock, there was a bit of surprise, but the world kept spinning. You know what I'm saying? Like, my friends, they didn't disown me, they didn't like tease me about it or nothing. Like, it was cool. And I think what that did was it took a lot of the pressure off of me. Like, I was like liberated from the sex rat race. Like, I know so many guys. I see so many guys online, especially like on 4chan and R9K. And when we have these discussions, one of the things that I notice the most is that it's not so much the sex that they want. It's the validation, and also like the whole social ramifications of being a virgin. Like, they don't want to deal with that. They don't want people to know that they're a virgin, and for them, because I think in a lot of ways people look down on virgins. They feel like you're not a real man until you have sex. And I think what really motivated me or like gave me like the balls to like stand up to that was that I grew up in an environment where I saw so many guys who, yeah, they got bitches and shit, but like they were bums, you know what I'm saying? Like, they would get a girl pregnant early and shit, and then they like, like all these absent fathers, and they wouldn't be there for their kids. And I'm like, you telling me like these guys are more of a man than me because they had sex, and they're not even there for their own kids? And I think that frustration led me to just have the balls to say, fuck sex, to be honest. Like, yeah, I'm a virgin, fuck it. Because I really just didn't want to be like those guys. I didn't want to be like those guys who, yeah, they had sex, yeah, they were cool, but then, they had to deal with all kinds of drama from that baby mama, and they weren't taking care of their kids. So I just didn't want to be like them. So I felt cool in a way for being a virgin. And I think that'll help a lot, because at least it'll get you over like the whole social bullshit of being a virgin. It's kind of like, what you see is what you get. I encourage NEETs and robots and weirdos. Oh, hold up, my alarm. No more heroes, it's kill or be killed. Look at the nobody but yourself, nothing else to do. Oh man. All right, yeah, I encourage you to have like a mindset of being like larger than life, be above normies. Like, you're already a fucking loser. Like, what do you have to lose? Like, what do you like? And it is risky, I'll admit. Like, everybody can't be like me, like just sort of just doing whatever the fuck you want and not caring what people think. But to me, it's helped a lot, because I think a large part of what makes being a virgin so bad isn't just like the state itself, because even people who have sex are miserable, some of them just as miserable as we are. I think it's the value that we place on the act itself is kind of, it's overblown. And you got to get past that. You got to be able to say, yeah, I'm a virgin. I don't give a fuck. Like, you know, I don't just go around like telling people like I'm a virgin. But if they ask, I tell the truth. You know, I don't conceal it. I don't lie about it. I tell them straight up. And if they don't like me, fuck them. And if they stick around, then cool, you know. But that's how I live my life. You know, I try to be, you know, I keep a lot of things to myself, but I try to be, if it's something that means a lot to me or is important to me, then I try to be as transparent about it as possible. I don't try to cover up shit, you know. So I found that that's just that just works for me because I don't give a fuck. All right, so number 3, when it comes to dealing with being a virgin, look at the cons. Look at the pros and the cons. And I think the problem with a lot of guys is when they, you know, being a virgin really bothers them a lot because they just have like this fantasy in their head of like being with a 10-10 perfect girl, perfect chemistry. She's got a nice tight ass, like they cuddling, and she's never fucked a black guy, like just the perfect girl. They just have this perfect situation, this perfect life like planned out. And yeah, that's the truth for some people. But what I've noticed is that looking at the people around me and their dating history is that it's a very rocky road, and it's a lot of bullshit you got to deal with along the way. Like from small things, like now you got to worry about like buying condoms. You got to go out and, I mean, yeah, let's start. I mean, you got to start from the beginning. Like, all right, what's your value as a male? Because let's face it, if you're like a beta male, omega male, then you're gonna have you're gonna have a much harder time getting girls than, you know, guys who are more attractive, have more money, better social skills and stuff like that. So look at the reality of what you're gonna have to deal with if you really want it. And I found that really helps at least give you like some better perspective. You know, like if you are chasing just this fantasy, then of course you're gonna feel miserable that you don't have it. But if you look at it realistically, it'll at least make you be like, it would be nice, but I don't want to deal with this. You know, like a big part of why I don't even try is because I just don't want to put in the effort. I'm lazy. I don't feel like chasing after girls. I don't feel like having to worry about catching an STD or getting someone pregnant or just dealing with like female drama and shit like that. Like I'll see like some of my friends like I've seen guys like their girl will call them and shit, and like they can't even talk to their girl like in the same room as their friends. Like they gotta go off and like humiliate themselves alone somewhere, like because I know like they gotta go like through like the motions and the bullshit with their girl just to keep her satisfied. And you know, not saying like that's like, you know, totally horrible, but you got to ask yourself, is that something you really want to deal with right now? And I just rather put the energy that I would have to put towards making myself more attractive and able to get girls into other things. You know, I'd rather put my energy into, you know, making music for you guys, or doing stuff like this, or just, you know, self-improvement shit. I'm selfish. Let's just face it. Okay. Now, number 4, the 4th tip I'm gonna give you that I recommend, or coping mechanism to deal with being a virgin, is appreciation and gratitude. And a big thing, or rather, I think something that really helps me deal with being a virgin, or not just being a virgin. I mean, sex isn't everything. There are so many things that I'm lacking. Like, God, you name it. I mean, there's a whole nother level that I probably never experienced. Like, so many things: food, places, people, experiences. But I just try to appreciate what I have now and really think about what it would mean if I didn't have those things. Like, and I start from the ground up, you know, like God, man, like I have all my fingers and toes. There are people like born like with like horrible deformities and stuff. Mentally, I've never taken an IQ test, but I'm pretty sure I'm not like retarded. But I could have been born like, mentally retarded and not have like the mental clarity and ability and potential that I have now. I could be a fucking potato. And I was I can see. There are people out there that can't see. I can hear. That's where I start, and then I start looking at like material things. Like I have a roof over my head. Like I'm not homeless. I have a bed to sleep in. I have food to eat. Like there are people starving. I have a laptop. I have so many gadgets to play around with. Oh my God, just the internet. You got the fucking internet. Like goddamn, like there's no reason to be bored like ever if you have the internet, man. And yeah, I just try to appreciate every little thing that I have, and at the very least, it puts me in a state where I feel as if I can't complain. Like I may not be able to say I'm the happiest guy in the world, but I can always honestly say that I can't complain. Like I have so much to be thankful for. And even like, I have a few buddies and friends online and in real life who I see every now and then. I'm thankful for them. Also family, I got a mom, got, brothers, sister, got a niece, I got family members that legitimately care about me. And I feel like it's a disservice to them to sit around worrying about people, girls who don't give a fuck about me and probably never will, while I have all these people who do care about me, so for their sake, I won't let shit like that get to me because I really appreciate it. And I know how lucky I am to have even one person that's kind to me and appreciates me and enjoys whatever the fuck. And even you guys, man, like God, like you guys like encourage me so much seeing people like interested in my music and saying like, hey man, you're talented, keep going. Like that's very encouraging. Like people like you really make it like life so much easier for me. Like if I see a girl, like a pretty girl somewhere, like, I get like the butterflies and, like you get like that feeling of like, despair. It's like, oh my God, I wish she would just sit on my face. But then I think like, man, I could go and try to like embarrass myself in front of her, try to entertain her like a monkey, or I could go home, make a beat, write a song, and then, give something to my followers, my subscribers, and make their lives a little bit brighter. Like, I love that. Like, I have an avenue to express and give. So yeah, just try to appreciate what you already have. It'll really help, or at least just give you some perspective. Like, well, I don't have everything, but I have a lot. All right. Number 5, the fifth coping mechanism for dealing with that feel with no girlfriend as a NEET or robot is have a passion. Like I was just saying, the whole music thing. Having something that you can invest time in that you really enjoy, that's challenging and allows you to express yourself and create and share. Oh my God, like that's paramount, man. Like that is so helpful. Like just as far as keeping like your mood high, give you a bit of like fulfillment and joy, and it gives you something to do, and just makes you feel like you have value. When you can create something and share it with other people and see them respond to it and get feedback, It's a really beautiful thing, man. And little things like that just make it a lot easier when you don't have a girlfriend or you're not having sex. It's just every little thing. And I think that being, just try to not be so much of a consumer and try to be more of a creator. Find a passion, find anything to love and invest hours upon hours into, and hopefully it's something that you can share with other people. And it doesn't have to be music. It could be art, like drawing like porn and shit, or 3D modeling, programming, write a novel or something. Make a an indie video game, start a blog, a website. And it doesn't even have to be like it can even be something more practical, like a trade, or not a trade, not if you're neat, but like building something, like I don't know, fucking treehouse. I don't give a fuck. A gardening, whatever, grow weed, but do something creative. And because I know whenever I'm feeling down, I always know like I have somewhere to turn to. I can always turn to music, and it's not always easy. Sometimes I'm sitting there like, man, what the fuck am I gonna write? But man, when you get that spark, when that fire, when you like, you got something and you run with it, man. Oh man, I'm telling you, it's so worth it, man. It makes you feel so much better. So yeah, just find something to be passionate about and pursue it with all of your heart and all of your vigor. And I promise you, it'll make you feel a whole lot better in this dark, lonely world of neatdom and virginity. Okay, so the last tip I'm going to give you. Hold up, do I have something to drink around here? I don't have anything to drink. Panic. Fuck it. Okay, the last tip I'm going to give you is one thing I like to do is I like to listen to audiobooks. And I don't know who recommended it. Maybe I saw it on Fit or something, but somebody recommended Way of the Superior Man. And what surprised me about that book was like the underlying message, which is kind of counter to what we've been brought up to believe, or what I think a lot of guys believe, and at least the way I interpret it, the general message of that book was that men were never meant to make women the center of our lives. We were never meant to really stress about chasing after women, or at the very least, not to invest like so much like emotion when like they don't come our way. Like just for example, if you go up to a girl and you ask her out and she rejects you, that shouldn't be like the end of the world. Like so many guys are afraid of like rejection and stuff like that, and that shouldn't be the end of you shouldn't even give a fuck, period. Like the whole message of the book was basically like you should have a purpose like outside of women, that drives you, and that's your core. That's like your fulfillment. That's what you rely on, your purpose. And whatever that may be, I can't tell you. I'm still trying to get mine figured out and shaped and pursue that. But I do feel like I have like the inner compass that's kind of showing me the way. And I think that's what's kind of led me to where I am now, or at least it's made me the type of person, like I've never been really stressed about not having a girlfriend or having sex. Like, I definitely have like, cravings like any other male, but it's never been like debilitating, like it seems to be for other guys. And I think it's because they want so badly for a female, a woman, to fulfill them. They want to like, they're betting it all on blacks, so to speak, and it's just not practical. It's just not a practical way to go about things, because women are sentient beings. They're free. They're free to come and go as they please, especially in the society that we live in now, after, post-sexual revolution, feminism, and all that shit. Like, they're free. They're here one day and they're gone the next. And you really have to accept that. You have to adopt kind of a detached mindset when it comes to the opposite sex. Like, like if I get a girlfriend, cool. If I don't, cool. And not even to say that you shouldn't even try, but when you have that mindset, I think it even puts you in a better position to try, because you no longer fear rejection. You no longer see, you just accept it as a part of life. You just accept the kind of coming and going of the opposite sex. It's just a part of life. And I think if I ever decided, like, okay, I want to put my foot in the game, I want to try to get a girlfriend, my mentality would be, like, first off, not even like really success. I would go for the mindset of, okay, I'm gonna go for 100 rejections. I'm gonna go for 100 rejections. I'm not gonna stop asking out girls until I get rejected 100 times. Experience that journey, and then look back on it and reflect on it and see what were the ups and downs of that. Like, that would be my mindset. Whereas a lot of guys, it's all about, I gotta win, I gotta get this girl, I gotta get this. They get like one-itis and shit. Like, don't fall into that trap. Like, yeah, I mean that's basically it, man. Like, read that book. I mean, I'm sure I fucked it up, like, explaining it so many ways. So read that book. I think it'll really help a lot of you guys who have a hard time dealing with that feel with no girlfriend. So yeah, that's about it as far as the coping mechanisms for dealing with being a virgin ass loser. But I gotta say, this episode has had kind of an anti-girl vibe, and I don't want to come off that way. I noticed that a lot of guys are very bitter towards women, and I'll admit, under the veil of anonymity, how you say anonymity? Like, when I'm anonymous on 4chan, I like to kind of, shit on women too, like talk shit, like, yeah, those bitches, they're whores and shit. I like to talk shit because it's kind of fun, it's kind of fun, kind of therapeutic to kind of just, shit on girls with the guys, but to be honest, I really don't hold any like legitimate, strong bitterness or hatred towards women. Despite the fact that I haven't had any real success with them, I still, I don't blame them for their ways. I don't blame them for wanting Chad, not this Chad. I don't blame them for wanting, the better, I've seen a lot of guys that they don't like the way the sexual market is now. They don't like that girls have the freedom to choose, and some of their problems with it aren't even like selfish. Like, there are certain like ways that this whole sexual revolution thing has kind of fucked society in a way, like with girls getting pumped and dumped by the quote unquote alpha male, and then now they got a kid, and then they end up on welfare and shit, and now you got a kid who don't have a father, and just all that kind of shit. There are some negatives to it, but I gotta be honest in that I kind of love the freedom. I love seeing human beings free to choose who they want to be with, and how that kind of plays out. And even though a lot of guys are getting left out of the dating game now, because we don't have things like arranged marriages, and people aren't as pressured to remain married. Like, it's nothing to get a divorce now and run off with the kids and shit. But I guess, I know a lot of guys are gonna hate me for this, but I love just seeing this wild west style of dating where everybody's free and the best man wins. Even though I know, but I love it. I love it's just it's like seeing humans in their natural habitat. Like it's like just seeing nature unfiltered, like seeing like hypergamy and all that shit. 80% of the girls going for 20% of the guys, even though that's probably a bit of an exaggeration. I get the concept there, and that's that certain guys are just gonna be wildly more successful with women than other guys, and it's just the way that it is. And of course, it would be cool to be one of those guys, but it didn't work out that way for us, huh? It just didn't. That's why. But hopefully these things that I've learned over time about at least coping with being alone are very legitimate and will work for me as time goes on, and you, unless you, but of course you don't have to. Like, fuck it, man, fuck all this shit, go get laid, do whatever the fuck you want to. I'm not trying to encourage being a virgin or nothing, but if you must be a virgin, then you got to deal with it somehow, because man, the game is brutal. The dating game is brutal as fuck. It's heartless, bro. Like, you gotta step your if you want the pussy, you gotta step your game the fuck up, And I always remember a quote that I heard from 50 Cent. He said that girls are born stars, men have to become stars. And I think what that meant was that girls don't have to work as hard to be attractive to the upper echelon of the opposite sex. They kind of grow into their role naturally because it's more of a physical thing than a competency thing. Whereas for guys, unless you're just like crazy model attractive, you have to really get your skill sets in order. You have to be very well rounded. You have, like I said, status, fame, money, attitude, looks. You got to really maximize every area that you can just to compete and get like a decent girl. So but the whole point I'm trying to make is that I'm not mad at girls at all. I'm not I'm not on some Elliot Rodgers shit. Shout out to Elliot Rodgers, but I'm not bitter or none of that. It's it is what it is. They're free to choose and be with who they want to be with, and even though they haven't chosen me, I still feel like I've gained so much from the opposite sex. Just in like being outside and seeing a pretty girl, or making eye contact with a pretty girl, or those rare instances of like being able to talk to a pretty girl or interact with a pretty girl face to face. Man, it's magical. It's really uplifting. It's like nature's gift to man in a way. And even without having sex with them or hugging them or even like having my first kiss, like I still can like enjoy females in a way. So I just want to say to any girls out there that are listening, I really appreciate you. I really appreciate how good you make me feel, and I hope you other guys can at least give them that credit. And I'll see you guys in the third segment. Let's roll. Okay, so as you guys know, before I get the fuck out of here, I like to do a couple things like read a interesting post from good old 4chan, and boy do I have a good one for us today. And it's kind of related to the topic that I covered today. So check this out. This is about cuddling with girls, by the way. What does this feel like? Can you get addicted to it? Or do you get used to it after a while? That's what the OP said. And there's a post right under it, and I love it. And it says, "You're probably not gonna like what I have to say, Anon, but here goes. First time I cuddled, I felt as if it was something I always needed, at least a little bit, without realizing it. You get a weird feeling, a mix of comfort and trust. You feel relaxed, safe, and warm. It really felt like fulfilling a basic human need because the feeling is like from deep inside. I won't say your brain is off, but very few thoughts go into it. You just feel it strongly. I do believe physical affection is something every human needs, and I very much wish you to experience it as well. A9." Oh my God. Like, kudos to that guy. He really, now, I understand why he said you're probably not gonna like this, because I mean this whole episode is pretty much about coping, right? And then I bring up this post and it's just like the fucking, it's like fuck you. you need a woman, right? But I totally understand. Well, not totally, because I haven't really experienced it, but I have an idea of what he means when he says all those things. And it goes back to even the little interactions that I've had with women. Maybe it was a smile or a conversation, but one thing I've noticed, and kind of to go back on some like philosophical shit, where I'm hearing a lot of people say that happiness is found in the moment, where you're able to just live in the moment and just be, right? And one thing I notice about moments where I'm in those rare moments where I have like one-on-one time with a girl, as platonic as it may be, is that I'm so engaged. I'm so appreciative of that moment of just being able to finally just talk to a girl, to look into a girl's eyes and it not be weird, for her to notice me, and for me to be able to really look at her entire body without like feeling like some dog or something. Like, just like though in those moments I'm really able to just live in the now and to just be, because I'm so engaged. Like, there's no thoughts, there's no, it's the peace of just being in the moment. And I can only imagine, but I think like that's the beauty of being in a relationship, of having a girl in your life, is that it kind of blocks out all the outside bullshit. It blocks out those past mistakes that haunt us. It blocks out worrying about the future, blocks out your insecurities. It's like the ultimate form of validation just right there. A beautiful girl, and she likes you, you like her, and she'll sit in your face if you want her to. You know what I mean? But yeah, thumbs up to that guy, because that was a very beautiful post, and I think it really captures like the beauty of relationships and the warmth that a woman can bring into a man's life. And that's why I like this post so much. But enough of that gay ass shit. Let's get back into some fucking neatery, right? Okay, so as you know, I fucking love you guys. Oh my God. And so that's why I love to just interact with you through comments every now and then. So bear with me while I log into my YouTube account and check out some comments. I'll be right back. Okay, so real quick, I'm going to answer or respond to a few comments from my lovely subscribers, and yeah, let's get right into it. So, okay, Now this is a good one from Phils McCoy. He says, keep up the self-improvement, man. I hope it works out. I'm a NEET, and right now my drug of choice is poppy seed tea, which is opium, morphine, and codeine. Oh my God, this is some serious shit. It makes me high for like 18 hours, and it's legal. So I used to smoke a lot of weed when I had access to it, but now I'm basically a hikikomori, so I don't like trying to find people who can sell it. Now see, this guy right here in one comment just was way more useful than I was in a whole episode. I mean, fuck, that sounds awesome. I mean, I'm pretty sure morphine and codeine is pretty goddamn addicting, but damn, if it's fucking legal and you can just get it like that, then damn, shit, get high as fuck, nigga. All right, he also said, oh yeah, and I had some bad trips on hallucinogens, as well as extremely euphoric ones. You should try shrooms once or twice, but don't become deluded by your hallucinations. I thought I was a prophet talking to God for a while. It took me hours to come back to my senses. See, this is why I don't fuck with that shit, because that shit can really take you out there, man. It will take you out of this fucking solar system. Think Salto's hallucinations and welcome to NHK. In the novel and the manga, those are drug trips. I've also tried cocaine and MDMA and tons of other shit a while ago when I could find it. Drugs are awesome, but stick to weed for the most part. And see, I can definitely agree with that. I would like to kind of branch out and experiment a little bit more with shrooms or whatever, but I really want to get to a more stable place in life and mentally before I do some crazy shit like that. But thinking about it, like the whole NHK thing, it makes a lot more sense when you think about him being on like shrooms and shit, because of some of the early stuff that was in even the anime. I read the novel, but even in the anime, some of the earlier sequences, he had to be fucking tripping balls, man. He had to drop some shit. All right, so let's get to the next one. Thank you, Phils McCoy. All right, original character says, thanks for the creds, dude. You did very well on this track. He's referring to Anonymous and Famous. Major props. No problem. Thank you so much, original character. He is the producer of the beat that I use for Anonymous and Famous. That's one of my favorite tracks that's gonna be on the mixtape. Some people aren't really digging it because it has kind of a generic like trap sound, more it's not very feelsy, but I wanted to have a couple fun tracks on the mixtape, like Trap House, where I'm just sort of just having fun with memes and just going fucking crazy with the bars. And some people like it, some people don't, but it's definitely one of my favorite tracks on the mixtape. If you haven't heard it yet, go check out Anonymous and Famous. It's funny as hell. I got an Alex Jones reference in there. All right, next comment. Xanakin Cartoon says, more episodes, please. He's referring to How to Be a NEET. And here you go. But seriously, I do plan on getting these out faster. It's kind of a bitch. Not a bitch, but I'm not used to doing this whole podcast thing. Rap is more my angle. But I figured, hey, I got a mic. I might as well try to do something more creative. Something like this podcast here. So I'm gonna try to get these out a lot faster from now on. So in fact, speaking of more episodes, I think on the next episode, because somebody left a comment, I'm too lazy to look for it now, but he left a comment that said, do an episode about money. And I'm like, how the fuck I'm a NEET, I'm broke as fuck, how do I want to do an episode about money? But fuck it, next episode we're gonna talk about how to get money as a broke ass degenerate NEET. I will see you guys next time. Let's fucking rock. Oh god, that's so lame. Let's rock. See you guys.